Okay, so we had some questions that I did anyway in the previous Maimer that seem to be answered by this one, although I don't understand exactly, I guess, it's articulated here, not stated at all in the previous one, but never mind, we'll see at the end. So the Shaila is, he said, I just finished saying, is Daled, that Yedechem Kodesh or Borchas Havaya, so we're Mamshech, the level of Kodesh, which is the level of Keser, into Shem Havaya. Even Shem Havaya de Le'ela, Gan Eden Elyon, Gan Eden Tachten. And this is higher even than the highest level of Baal Tshuva. There was two levels of Tshuva, Tshuva and Baal Tshuva, both in Gan Eden, both in Tshuva Elo and Tshuva Tato. But this is even higher still. So that's the darg of Yedechem Kodesh. And now he says, but yet what is Mamshechet is the union of Yedechem Maisa. Now, this needs to be understood because the low level of Tshuva deals with Maisa. That's what it's about. Toshav Hey. So there seems to be a hint of an answer a little bit in what we learned yesterday, because he asked that the foot is also Maisa. But then he answered, Lashon Chazal, I looked up the Gemara there, it's a whole context there. The Gemara discusses when the pasuk refers to both man and behemoth together, then the term behemoth is actually virtuous. So there the Gemara explains the pasuk Adam or behemoth Teshia Hashem. That's the quote. Let's look at it again, number 32. That's Bnei Adam Shein Arumim B'das. So on the one hand, that's people that are very intelligent, but still they're humble. That's the Mailam. Asimim Atzim Kebehema. So that's what the Gemara means there, according to the Mefarshim. Otherwise, Behema, it can be, when referring, can be Rechsodan. So he's saying over here, therefore, that the Maisa, Asimim Atzim Kebehema, has to be Arumim B'das. It's not Stam Maisa, but it's got to be a Maisa permeated with Moishe. Still Tzorech Iyun, because we're talking that Darge of Kodesh is higher than Moishe, and yet he's saying it's what's Mamshech, the Darge of Kodesh is behavior, intelligently controlled, directed behavior. That's it. That's Mamshech from the Kodesh, Yechidish B'nefesh. Okay, Tzorech Iyun. Unless the explanation, you want to say something? Unless the explanation is that in order to get Seichel, Moichen into Maise, that the Moichen should illuminate Maise, that's got to draw the Yechidah on the soul essence. Because they're two parallel worlds, Moichen and Maise. Anyway, this is conjecture because the Maimon does not offer an explanation. Although he does in the next paragraph, it doesn't add any hasbara. Let's have a look. He just spells out and elaborates on what he talked about in the previous Maimon, the af asisiv. So we'll continue. Let the Maimon speak for itself. Everybody will take from it what they have to take. So what's the union of the Maisa, the Mail of Maisa B'Poel explains in the Alter Rebbe. In the Kodesh on the Maimemi Monafa Yaakov Mispas Rev Yisrael being in Barosiv Yitzartiv Afasisiv. So the pasuk says, God says, I created it, I formed it. Indeed, I made it. Shegimel Madregis Barosiv Yitzartiv Afasisiv V'Gimel Mizbiyah. That's the three elements B'ri Yitzir Asiyah, which are of course Klolis Ishtaushalos, the general Ishtaushalos. But then there's a fourth level. That's Atzilus. Now, then he's going to say, which he didn't say in the previous Maimer, and then there's Keser, which is what we're talking about. There's a fourth level hinted in the word af indeed, because ki af aloshen riboy. Af comes to add something additional to what is stated, obviously. The Rabbi's before this count to add something else that's not stated explicitly in the pasuk. So it's not just af asisiv, but asisiv is stated. So it's addition to the asisiv. So what is that? It's a level that's higher not than just Asiyah. It's higher than all three levels outlined in the pasuk. So the diakir is what the word af comes to add. It's not stated explicitly. All it says is there's more. But what more? What is it adding? It doesn't point to a particular level. It's not identified like the three levels of Barosiv, Yetzatev, and Asisiv. It just says af, there's more. It's because that more is totally beyond the three levels. So it's not listed because it's not in the list. It's completely higher than the levels before. It cannot be identified in the same category as Biyah. That's the af, open-ended because it's undefinable. So now we know that af is hamshacha of higher than ishtalshalus. But where does that word af appear? The riboy ze nismach lasisiv. The word af could be said anywhere in the pasuk. But it says in proximity, in association with the word asisiv dafke. The fee now is answering our question. Where is the giloy of af? Dafke in action. So it comes down to action, even though the highest madregis was speaking of tshuva and bal tshuva, and then the etzeming of tshuva, yichid kodesh. How does it all translate in action? And that's where mamshich, the level of afti, indeed, the gewalt, beginnes haravias. But that's Atzilus. Who are we satisfied with Atzilus? Huh? So he says, because that's the subject matter here, tongue in cheek, but the subject matter here is Kodesh, Kesed. So even though it adds a fourth level, it's an open-ended fourth level that embraces a Kesed, Shalomainim Atzilus. To explain that what he said moments ago that can be expressed in the same category, because we often do put Atzilus together with Biyah. But here we mean beyond Atzilus itself. Behemes, even Atzilus is seen to do in the same pasuk. Then it goes on to say, so in the pasuk already there is an allusion to Atzilus in the hemshach of the words, but not as a defined act of creation. But now he's saying that it's even higher, that it includes Atzilus and the Mailim Atzilus. Kiyadua that Atzilus is sometimes reckoned as part of the Olam Ein Sof, because Atzilus is purely divine. Creation, the most sublime level, starts at Biyah. Continuing the others, I'm going to ask someone to close that door. There's a lot of noise coming from there. Just I'm hearing it. It's not. Everything is distorted. Sorry. Okay. So that's the diak, like the word afasisiv. So Yedechem Kodesh, Yedechem Daike, Yinam Maisa, so then my Giyim, the Madrege, Shalamaili Medal Rishem Avaya. So you reach Taka higher than the four levels. Shemeshom Nimshech Teis Vesebeshem Avaya, and that's the whole Indian here. To be Mamshech Debish, this Pnimis Arotzet in Seder Ishtal Shalos. She's having an Uborchos Avaya, you bench Havaya, your Mamshech, Debish, this Kavon, the Rotzen Pnimi, how? Through your tshuva. And how is my tshuva? What's the ikir? Is a Maisa B'Poel. But as he added before, a Maisa that's suffused with Moichin, with the Kavona. Zeho, now he adds over here, making it clearer, which he didn't say in the previous Maimim. Zeho gam mashakosa mispas roiva Yisrael. So Rine roiva maloshin arba, that's 4. So that's where in Dalad Eilemis Abiyah. See, the previous Maimim kept on stressing we're mamshich the 4th level only. It stopped there. Now, how does it fit with the whole Kodesh and everything? So he says here, like I said in the Ois we just learned. The 4 levels of Nefesh correspond to. But that's not Yechida. That's up to Yechida. And here we're saying that Kodesh is Yechida and Kesed. So now he answers it. He hinted to it. He didn't spell it out. Now he does. That mispar the leched. Why does he add the word and a number? He said already, umona. He said, who can count? Who can count the dust of Yaakov and then say, Reva Yisrael? Which means there's no number. Why does he say again? Well, mispar, who can count? Mana means count and mispar means actually no. Mana means to a portion, which is counting, and mispar means to count numbers. But if you saw, just say simply, who can count the dust of Yaakov and the Reva Yisrael? As actually explains the two pirushim. Shari mi mona, the who can count, which is the subject here, koi gamal lev Yisrael, is also the refers to the end of the pasuk, the Reva Yisrael. Achinyan hu. It's a new level. Mispar meloshen svirus ubehirus. Mispar comes from the word svirus ubehirus, which means brilliance. So now he touches that Misparas Reva means an illumination of even the fourth level, even Atzilus, even the loftiest level. With what? With Madreg of Kodesh, Yichidesh Benefesh. Shal Yedei Shemagim Madreg Shalamaylim V'Zer Shal Yedei Shemagim Madreg Shalamaylim Mehem. And that's the meaning that through reaching the level beyond them, which is the level of Keser, this is the etzem inyan of tshuva, u'benefesh ha'adam inyan b'chinas ha'yichida, I am a Jew. Etzem inyan of tshuva, just a word of explanation. The etzem inyan of tshuva is not a decision. It's not a decision. It's who I am. That's it. Gamarno. That's yichida. All the other levels are decision. A decision born in will, a decision born in intellect, a decision born in emotion, the different dargas of tshuva. A decision born in just a desire for behavioral change. But the etzem inyan of tshuva, yechida, is not a decision. It's revealing the etzem v'ayim yid, and everything follows thereafter. There's no discussion, there's no struggle, there's no debate. But so through the gila yechida, which kesed, which is the rotzim pnimi of the Eibishter, which overall expresses the I am of God that's invested in the I am of a Yid. So this is peil teisves oil begilui. So this suffuses the whole dalda madregish, dal shemavayish, barchas avayah, the whole seder shtalshalis, as we said before. Why seder shtalshalis? Because of our relationship. That's why it's there. And when you reveal that, so then you give a whole new chayas, a whole new validity to hishtalshalis. That's why it's there. That's why I did it. That's why I expressed myself the way. It's all to be connected to you. So when you fix it, you do tshuva, and you realign and reaffirm our connection ever deeper, then that justifies whole hishtalshalis. That's what is meant by the bracha or barcha savaya. Okay, let's look at the summary. You have the paper. The teichen. It's two-sided. Barchas Havaya Amshochas Teisvis Oir B'Shem Havaya. So we bless Havaya. What does it mean? We bless Havaya. Havaya is the source of blessing to us, he asked. No. There's the inyan that a yid through his Havaya is Mamshech Teisvis Oir B'Shem Havaya, from where M'chins HaKesed V'Yechida, from the Kesed above, which parallels and synonymous with his own Yechida. And what are we talking about? A giloi, kifi shemi fnei atzma, begiloi, pure yechida, pure dots and pure desire. Loy rak kifi sheklulim b'kodesh shel yud. Not only is they are there in a subtle way in chachma in the kodesh shel yud. That was that whole arichas, right? V'zeh gamin amshachas teisus eir began Eden, and that's the meaning of that. It is mamshech teisus in Gan Eden. It's loyal rak Gan Eden atach, because that's yichud vavei. Elegam Gan Eden elin yichud yudkei. There was the diuk. There's ziv teirasan vavidasan. Then there's the etzem teirasan vavidasan. The ziv teirasan vavidasan is Gan Eden elin, as is. But teirasan vavidasan mamish, which nearly comes down to Yedechem Kodesh, so that is Mamashech Tois V'Seir. But the Gemara say, the parallel is in Tshuva, there's Tshuva Tato and Tshuva Yilo, Al Derech similar to Gan Eden Tatachten, Gan Eden Elyon. B'chol Echad Mem, and each one of the two levels, there's Beis Madreges, two levels, Teshuvah and Baal Teshuvah, just like in every level of Gan Eden, there's Gan and there's Eden. So Tshuva Tato, what are the two levels? Malchus, the lower level, that's changing behavior, and then there's Zoh changing, working on our actual emotions. That's the Baal Tshuva of the lower level of the Tshuva. But Tshuva Ilah, then in Tshuva Ilah, there's Bina and Chochma. Bina is Tshuva and Chochma is Baal Tshuva. Again, that's a much more subtle, sublime level, because Bina is still self, I understand. And Chochma is pure bittul, that's Baal Tshuva. Baal Tshuva is going beyond, I understand, but a connection, an objective connection. It's transformative, fundamentally, the experience of Chachma. Right? We spoke about this, yeah? Okay, nice words, we have to learn it and apply it. But then there is a fifth, it's the fifth level. That's Yedechem Kodesh, that's the Keser. Etzem inyan akshuva, kenes hakeser. As we said before, the end of the mind, that's a tshuva that's born in no choice. And we find this parallel in tshuva for year round. And the tshuva, we're there, it's already the inyan of keser. And in a tshuva gufa, within that itself, the pure revelation of Yechida is Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, as the Maimon spoke about, prepping us for the days to come. And the paradox is that what is Mamshech the Inyan? It's Yedechem Inyan Amaisa, just like Moishe did with the Bechinas. The pasuk incorporates a fourth level, which he now connects to the fifth. Fourth isn't enough. The af, which is undefined, which means it's boundless, it's drawn down. That's the level of Keseh, Yechida, Kodesh, Dafke by Asiyah. Why add the word mispar? Because it's more than Droiva. It's Lahoya, we're illuminating the Dalet Bechinas. That's the Roiva. It means four. Through this essential level of Bechinas HaChesed. Yeah, again, nice ICS. And we move on. That means it's not so. It's not so. It's not possible. It's not possible that, learning Chassidus doesn't have some effect. I mean, it can have a big effect if we want, but even if we're not trying that hard or trying at all, something. That have been taught many times, and nature like to learn a lot of Chassidus. Two things. Learn deep is one thing, but then just to learn a lot. So you're not spending a long time in davening next moment. Immerse yourself, just sink in the Yishis Harav, in the words of Chassidus. So if we stay submerged long enough, it has to have an effect. All right, friends, next Maimer.
There is an answer that there is a letter that the Rebbe gave to...
so I can't hear what you're saying.
There is a letter that the Rebbe wrote to Altein from Pittsburgh.
So a letter wrote
to Altein.
From Pittsburgh.
Rabbi Altein.
From a Altein?
Altein from Pittsburgh. The Moyle's father. And he was telling him about. I'll get you the lashon, but Rebbe told him to even learn like the hard. I don't remember which mimer in Chayesara Torah, which is like you're saying, you don't understand everything.
What you saying?
Okay. Learn the hard mimer in Torah or Chayesara, which is hard. You're not going to understand everything necessarily.
But you should learn. Not everything you have to understand. I'm gonna get you the lashon.
Understand everything.
I'm gonna get you a copy of the letter from Mendy, who's his son-in-law.
Huh?
He's going to give you a copy of the letter from Mendy, from his son-in-law.
Teitelbaum.
Okay, well, interesting letter. Okay.
It's apropos of what you're saying now. Okay.